Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, and with me, as always, Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who may cry devil, Steven.
That wasn't good. That was not a good...
You didn't like that one?
I didn't like that one.
Oh, well, you're the Devil May Cry 5 guy, so is that better?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
Right,
I'm
I
sorry,
almost
let
called
me
the
back it
stream.
up. All right, so the Devil May Cry 5 guy, Steven.
I almost called the stream when we played Devil May Cry. I almost called it Steven May Cry because Elgato was being such a jerk that I was really frustrated going into the stream.
Yeah, so what was that about? It wasn't giving your TV audio?
It was not giving my TV audio. It would not capture video to my computer. So it was doing one of the four things it should be doing, which is providing audio and video to the TV and providing audio and video to the computer for which it would be streaming.
Right.
And I got one of those four things.
You know, and Elgato, if you're watching this, first off, hi. Second off, like, Elgato is supposed to be, in my opinion, and the way it is presented is like they are supposed to be the best when it comes, and not even the best, like they are who you turn to for any kind of live streaming, especially gaming source. And I just I don't have as many problems as you do, but like in the grand scheme of things, between the two of us, we have so many issues, and I don't know if we're the dumb ones, which may be, but like we've fought it left and right. I don't understand.
Look,
you know?
when I'm able to get the Elgato to communicate with my TV and PlayStation enough to where it's getting video, I feel like I've done everything I'm supposed to do.
Right. Well, and it's supposed to be so simple too. It's just a whole 9 yards. We won't go into that because that's not why you folks are here. You're not here to listen to us bitch about Elgato. You're here to listen to us bitch about video games, and that's what we're gonna do because this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, movies, TV shows, anime. If you're not watching My Hero Academia right now, my God, is it good? And whatever else we want to talk about. We've got a great show for you this week. We're going to be talking about all the delays. This is the great delay of 2020. Not even a month in, and we're already hitting the delay season. We're going to talk about all the delays that have happened over really just like the last week. And then we're going to talk about the new Smash Fighter and some other things coming to Smash. But before we do any of that, we've got a little bit of housekeeping. This week is going to be a Forward Compatible week on the channel. For those of you that don't know, Forward Compatible is a series where we take a look at a game that we played at, and I say we, meaning Steven, that we played at least 5 years ago, and basically kind of take a re-review of it. Does it fit with today, who we are today as gamers? So it's a series we've done. We've got a couple of those reviews up right now on the channel if you want to check them out. But the fun thing about this is you get to see us kind of review the game live. So Steven will be live streaming this game all week long. All of our streams this week will be this game. And then at the end of the week, Steven will do a review. Well, I guess it'll actually technically be next Monday. Right. Steven will have a review that basically kind of says, is this game forward compatible? We may be able to go backwards to play it, but is it worth bringing forward? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Steven, what is the game?
There's a really good slogan in the way you worded that somewhere. Like there's a really good hook. Like we may be able to go backwards to play it, but is it worth bringing forwards to us? Like if you can condense that, there's something there.
It may be backwards compatible, but should it be forward compatible? Is that better?
Everything should be forward compatible because that's how you get something timeless like Bastion. Anyway, this game, are we talking about what the game is?
Yeah, so what is the game you're playing this week, Steven?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys the game now, but I recommend you watch the preview, which will air immediately following this.
Yes.
Or is that...
Is that where you
Is that
normally
airing-
surprise it?
No. I normally mention it in the podcast,
Yeah, okay.
but I just feel like I'm going to need to add a lot of disclaimers for this one. But is preview airing after the podcast? Because we've changed the podcast airing time.
So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jake. I run a video game YouTube channel called Chortle Games. And Elgato, like we were saying, just sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. We have started live streaming the podcast to all of our different channels, right? We're going to Twitch, we're going to Facebook, we're going to YouTube, all at the same time. If you're, again, I'll just go ahead and put this in now. YouTube is chortlegames.com. Our Facebook is @ChortleGames. And then Twitch, we're Twitch_games on Twitch.
Chortle_games.
What did I just say? Twitch_games?
Twitch_games, yeah.
We're Chortle_games on Twitch. But if you go there, you watch us, whatever. We're trying to stream to all of those platforms at the same time. What that means is that someone has to press go and press stop on this podcast because this is a pre-recorded thing. Because we used to schedule this to post on YouTube, and that was no problem. We never had any problems out of that. So that's why we moved the airtime of the podcast from used to be 12 p.m. Central Time. Now it's 5 p.m. Central Time. I have, over the last several weeks, been trying to devise a system where I can basically press a button and then through a series of delayed commands, it will run the show on its own. First time I tried it, worked beautifully. Just was perfect. And then the second time I did it, there was some sort of issue where it didn't fire quite right. I flew a little too close to the sun, and so it messed up. And then the second one, then the most recent one, it actually cut the podcast just a little early. I was basically sending it to our outro, and it cut. So I don't know. It's an Elgato thing. I'm probably pushing Elgato past what its limits are, but I'm just trying to make something that works. So anyway, all of that to say, yes, Stephen, it should air after this podcast airs. So if you're watching this at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook, the forward compatible
preview will
air after this. This stream will end, and then the forward compatible one will boot right back up after it.
Okay. So for more information on this game, for basically the kickoff of forward compatible for this month, watch that preview after this podcast. I'm going to be talking about how I remember this game and what I expect from it this week. But just most long-winded explanation ever. So I've been doing a pattern for forward compatible where it's been Star Wars, not Star Wars, Star Wars, not Star Wars. Now we're back on Star Wars. So, that being said, it's time for more Star Wars.
Time for more Star Wars.
It's time for more Star Wars. So, I will be playing Star Wars Republic Commando this week. I was going to do this one as a backup when Force Unleashed, when it was that game's turn. Glad that I got that one to happen because, man, people have been really enjoying that review, and I'm really happy about that. But I don't know how much to really go into it here, but basically to wrap this up so that you guys can hear more in the preview, it's a first-person squad-based shooter, kind of like older Rainbow Six titles that's set in the Star Wars universe where you play as a squad of clone troopers. I remember people really liking this game, so I imagine it seems like one of those games that's a cult classic. Like if you played it, you fondly remember it. That's kind of how I see this game. So I'm excited to see what you guys think. I know Stowe will probably be pretty happy because that seems like it's right up his alley. So Stowe, if you're in the chat, this one's for you, buddy. as well as all the other Star Wars ones have been for you.
As well as all the other Star Wars big boys.
Yep. He's the real Star Wars big boy, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
So is. Anyway, so yeah, Star Wars Republic Commando, that's going to be this week.
Yep.
Going to be streaming it all week till I beat it, and then we're going to have a review next Monday.
So I know normally you would start streaming it right after the preview airs. Is that something you think you're going to do, or are you going to start
I think so.
Tuesday?
I think I'm going to start tonight.
Okay, great. So if you're watching this live tonight after the preview, you're going to get the first live stream.
And all this to be said, I'm going to say this right now. If you don't see the preview air after this podcast, and if you aren't part of the Discord, which you totally should be, that is because something either went horribly wrong on Jake's end with the preview or on my end with the game. Because I made sure to do this ever since, I guess it was JK2. Yeah, JK2 gave me trouble. These older games, I now just need to absolutely make 100% sure that they will run on my computer. I have launched Republic Commando on my PC. I got to the main menu, but that's as far as I got. So if you don't see a preview air tomorrow, it's because we're in crisis mode and we need to figure something out. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
You know,
if you don't see a preview, just forget this entire conversation. Nothing happened.
Welcome to Chortle Games, everybody, where we're two guys who know what we need to do and want to do, but man, technology just doesn't work with us.
It is a busy time for me.
Yeah.
Right now, specifically, because you and I both, I think I'm right in saying this. You and I both forgot that forward compatible was even happening until like 10 minutes ago. I'm in the middle of the house buying process. A lot of stuff's happening at work, so like I'm very scatterbrained right now, and so I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening.
Yeah.
So
well, since I haven't done many of the forward compatibles, I edit the review at the end, but other than that, it just wasn't forefront of my mind. But yeah, I am not as busy as I'm going to be later this year. I am going to have a much busier season in a month. So that, get excited. If you're loving all the Jake solo streams right now, enjoy them while you got them, because they're not going to last forever. But anyway,
you're going to be stuck again with me pretty soon.
Yeah.
Once the dust settles for me.
When the dust settles. We got a little while before that. But anyway, all right, let's jump right into our news stories for this week. So the great delay of 2020 has happened, is upon us. Could continue to happen. Who really knows?
What would be like the crisis name for this? Like what would the news headline be? Like what does the news call this? Like Delay Gate or something like that? You know, like some kind of controversy. Or the adpocalypse is what YouTube calls that kind of stuff. Delaypocalypse.
Delaypocalypse. That's pretty good. I was thinking Hindenburg, so I was gonna say Delayinburg, but
that doesn't work.
I don't know. Yeah, no, maybe not. But anyway, so we've got several games that were delayed just this past week. So a lot of craziness. So we start off fairly light, right? Final Fantasy VII Remake was delayed from March to the
shock
April.
Of no one.
Yeah, to the shock of no one.
That game's never coming out. Just, I'm convinced that over there at Square Enix, they're just like, okay, we bought ourselves another few months. We have to make a game, like for real this time.
They got delayed from March to April 10th. So it was like a week and a half, maybe something like that. Not a very big delay, but a game that's been delayed a couple times, and then on top of that, just has taken so long to get here. Like you said, to no one's surprise, but just kind of
to add a little context to that, I'm pretty sure that we first heard that this game was coming out at E3 2015.
That sounds on par with a Square Enix game.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Final Fantasy titles, they
notoriously
they're
take
never gonna come
years from announcement.
When you finally given up hope that they're actually coming out, they're finally like, no, we swear we're coming out tomorrow. We've been telling you this for a few months now, and you're just like, okay. And then you have the game in your hand, and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna open it up, and it's gonna like be a boxing glove that punches me in the face, right? And then, but no, yeah.
No. But so all in all, not a bad delay. Like just a week or two.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, I don't even know why delay it that long. You know, like that's such a short delay. But whatever.
Yeah.
The next one's hit a little harder. Marvel's Avengers, which Steven, was that like your number 1 or 2 that you were most excited for?
That was my number 1 most anticipated, because I was justifying anticipation as the game that I am most eager to get my hands on, not necessarily the game I think is going to be the best.
I gotcha. Well,
but yeah, Avengers got pushed to September.
Yeah, so it was coming out in May, and now it's September 4th. From what I've heard from people who have seen the game and like at E3 have gotten behind closed doors, I heard a lot of mixed reviews of some people I think were just so excited about the concept and that it worked that they were just so excited about the game. But then I heard a lot of people say that things didn't feel right, things didn't look right, and so they were worried about it. So I'm honestly okay with this delay because we haven't seen that much of the game. Like we've seen a little bit. So giving this not quite 6 months, but you know, a couple months to polish and kind of tidy up a bit, and we're gonna probably see it again at E3. So we'll get another wave of E3 hype to go behind it. I think that's ultimately going to be good for it.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the most important thing, is that a lot of people have forgotten this game is even coming. There's like no hype around it because people are just assuming it's going to be bad. And so if you give it time to be improved, and then you give us that final push in an E3 trailer with extended gameplay, stuff like that, then people will be able to see it and be like, oh, this is more like a final product, and this looks pretty good.
Right.
And so you can build that anticipation in the final couple months before it comes out. So I think that was a smart move for them.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
My wallet is not, though.
Man.
Because everything is coming out in that like August to November window, I feel like.
Yeah, well, I want to get to that at the end here.
Yeah.
So now this is where it hurts. I bought this shirt right here. This Cyberpunk 2077 shirt. I put it on. I tweeted a photo, or I sent a photo to Steven and Brody. And I said, gearing up for Cyberpunk, guys. Brody sends back, that's the legitness. And I said, ha, funny. What a pleasant exchange we've all had. And then Brody immediately sends no in all caps. I go, what? Jake, what have you done in all caps? What's happening? What? And I was like, what do you mean? And then he sends me a photo. Cyberpunk delayed from April till September 17th. My birthday. So happy birthday to me. I'll get to play Cyberpunk, but man, what a freaking... This is, of all the things that got delayed, that's the one that hurts the most, you know?
I feel like we all knew it was coming, though.
Really?
That game is still at the point to where it doesn't feel real, you know?
But I feel like I've seen enough of it to know that it is real. And what's furthermore, you talking about how, it just doesn't seem real. Like, the game is fully playable. They are in polish stage. Their statement about, hey, this is why we're doing it. They say, like, the game's done. It is fully playable, but we want to polish it. And we need this much time to finish polishing it, which is fine. Take the time you need. But I just, with
a game that has the depth that Cyberpunk claims to have, though, polishing, like leaving that time to polish, that is such a question mark.
Important too.
Because like you don't know if they mean like they're trying to just make sure animations look a little bit better, or if it's like we're trying to make sure that every single possible outcome behaves as the game is supposed to. Like with a game with that kind of depth, if they're trying to run through like bug fixes, making sure there are no bugs, all that kind of stuff, that's a huge undertaking.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they'll need every single second of that extra push.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've yet to, and maybe it's because I haven't really sought anything out. I've only watched stuff for Cyberpunk when it's come to me, because that's how I typically get a gauge for these games, to where when it's a game that I'm not personally like super attached to and like counting the seconds till I get my hands on it,
right,
I usually let the information come to me,
right,
so that I can kind of have a gauge of how they've been handling marketing.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk, not a lot of people are talking about it. It's been a lot of word of mouth, which is a lot because CD Projekt Red fans are diehard, rightfully so. But I just feel like no one's really been talking about it. So it's one of those games that I feel like is almost like a myth, like a legend, where it's we've seen gameplay of it and it's like, oh, it's coming out in April, and it's just like, okay,
yeah,
I'll believe it when it's in my hands. So that it didn't surprise me personally to hear there was a delay, that much of a delay, because that's what, 5 months?
6 months.
From April to September?
April, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September.
Well, if you include September as a month, it's 5 months. Yeah, it's five. It depends on how you count the months. Yeah, that's
a lot.
That's a little bit longer than I probably would have expected.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point to where I've been burned enough times by incomplete games. You take all the time you need.
Yeah.
Every second, make it what it's supposed to be, and you're good by me. That's all I'm saying.
To wrap this up, so we can talk about just delays in general, because there's a lot I want to say. Iron Man VR was delayed from February to May 15th.
Also, totally forgot that Iron Man VR was a thing.
I think several people did. It's actually funny listening to like podcasts and other news stories talking about these. There were several people who were like, "Man, what else is coming? Like, what else could get delayed?" And they were like going through lists of stuff, and they read out Iron Man VR, and somebody was just like, "Yeah, that's probably gonna get delayed," just because we haven't seen. I mean, we've seen like maybe one trailer. Like, I haven't seen anything else about it. So,
right.
I'm not surprised by that one. But anyway, so to talk more generally about these delays, and particularly the two that got pushed to September, and really Cyberpunk for me, the reason, so just as a blanket statement, I'm for delays. Like you said, we've been burnt enough time by games coming out not ready. We're looking at you, Anthem, and take the time, make the game what you've promised it to be, and just take the time you need to make it. Don't crunch, don't whatever. Get it out how as good as you can get it, and put it out. Just take your time, whatever, that's fine. What I am upset about with these particular delays, especially the ones going into September, is we're getting a new console this year, Steven, right? We're getting the Xbox Series X, and we're getting the PS5, presumably in November, right? So you're telling me that Cyberpunk is going to come out on September 17th, and I'm going to have the rest of September, October, and maybe a little bit in November to play that game on my PS4 before I have a completely new system that I may or may not, but most likely will, be able to play those games again.
So this is where you have to wonder how many of these games are going to drop PS4, Xbox One.
I can tell you right now.
It's happened
I can
before.
tell you right now, Cyberpunk will not, because they've confirmed that. They have said outright, we're not. In fact, I don't think they're doing a PS5 version. I'm knocking on something, but from what I can tell, I've seen it say it's not cross-gen, it's not Like, it's not going to be on PS5. We assume, and the rumors are, I cannot find anyone who can definitively say, yes, the PS5 is going to be backwards compatible. I've seen some articles that say that, but then there's like an update that says PlayStation has actually redacted this comment. Like, that maybe they won't be able to support PS4 games. And one can probably safely assume that most PS4 games that come out this year would be covered. If it's not going to be like all PS4 games are covered, like hopefully it'll at least be this past year. But anyway, all that to say, with these huge, end of the PS4 life cycle or current generation life cycle games coming out so close, it just, I don't know, it just kind of, I hate this transition year where it's like, cool, like I've been so excited about Cyberpunk. Once I get my PS5, if I can't play it on my PS5, like, we're gonna have problems. Like, either I'm gonna have to rebuy it on PS5 and start it all over, or hopefully they're gonna let it be backwards compatible somehow, and I can just transfer my save and go from there. But
here's where you're at a disadvantage being a fan of CD Projekt Red. They are a PC developer.
Right.
You know how you can like gauge this developer does PC games, this developer does console games, even if they aren't mutually exclusive or aren't exclusive. Ubisoft is a console developer, or at least they were, and then they realized they made more money on PC, so they started only caring about PC with certain games like Division 2. CD Projekt Red is a PC developer where that's probably not a huge concern to them because their PC demographic has been their main demographic pretty much their entire like lifespan as a developer, as far as I can tell. And that's not to say that they've like abandoned console or don't care about console, because obviously Witcher's been getting great support. But you just have to wonder, like, how concerned are they with making sure people can play these games on the new hardware when the majority are probably going to get it for PC and they're good, they're covered.
Yeah. Well, so to tangent off of that a little bit, it was also announced this week, and this isn't a news story I was planning on talking about, but Horizon Zero Dawn is supposedly going to be released on PC this year.
I heard about that, yeah.
That would be another Sony exclusive that would be coming to PC. Death Stranding was one before that. And then really, if you count, what was the game with choices? Quantum Dream. Is that Quantum Dream who made it?
Detroit Become Human?
Yes. That was, that has been put on PC. So Sony is kind of starting to allow things to be developed or reworked for PC. And as these consoles are getting more powerful, they're trying to be closer to what a PC can offer someone, but with, obviously the simplicity of a console. So I don't know exactly where I'm trying to go with this, but like, I don't think it's going to be as hard going forward to make things work. Because like you're saying, or I don't know if this is what you were trying to say, but PCs, it's like kind of the benefit of a PC is like, oh, you spend a lot of money to get a gaming PC, and then as long as it comes to PC, like, you're good. Like, you're not going to have to buy another system for however long, unless you just want to upgrade the computer you have.
You just have to buy a component that's the price of another system to keep it up to date.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one of the benefits, right? But now systems are getting so close to that as well. I don't know. Backwards compatibility should be easier, you would think. But I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, all that to say, that's just kind of a concern for me, is because the other thing, talking about, oh, hey, we're excited about what's coming in 2020. Like, everything we know about 2020 originally was up until about June or July. Like, we don't know much past this summer, which is normal. Right. but especially for this year, where again, the new consoles are coming. I was really expecting a lot of game announcements to be November, December, and kind of September, August, all that would be real light. Like obviously the Switch is probably going to dominate a lot of the conversation in August, October, September, and probably November, just because they normally release something in November. But they're not switching gears this year, whereas everybody else is. So I don't know. I'm just really I hate seeing delays get pushed closer to that, because that's just going to be such a crazy time to try and play stuff. So anyway, let's talk on to our next topic. Smash got a new fighter. It was announced via Sakurai, thank you. A Sakurai live stream that was like 50 minutes, something like that. And God love this man. He's so funny. I didn't watch the whole live stream, but the bits that I did, I chuckled at everything he did, because anyway, the new fighter is Byleth from the Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is the main character. It's the character that you play and control.
How many blue-haired sword-wielding Fire Emblem characters does that make now?
I think 5. Is that what we determined for blue-haired swordsmen in the game?
Ike, Marth, Lucina,
Prom,
Byleth. I think that's it.
Yeah, but
that's 5 blue-haired sword-wielding Fire Emblem characters.
And then how many Fire Emblem characters is it total? I think it's 8, right?
Corrin, Robin, Roy. I think it's 8.
Yeah, something like that.
Like
anyway, it's a lot.
But I'm not
it's
sure.
not as I recall. It's not as many as Mario's representation, but still, it's a lot. So anyway, Byleth was announced. He'll be coming on January 28th. He is, as you said, a blue-haired swordsman. They kind of poke fun at this in the game, or in the announcement trailer. He goes and he kind of gets his butt kicked by all the other swordsmen, and he comes back, and Sothis, one of the characters from Fire Emblem Three Houses, is like, "Too many swordsmen, huh? Well, good thing we've got other weapons." And she sends down like a spear, an axe, and a bow. And so Byleth, kind of what is unique about his character, he can switch weapons and use those for different abilities and that sort of thing. So anyway, Sakurai went into all those details. I was chuckling at the live stream because he like went through the history of Fire Emblem, which was pretty cool. But anyway, he talked a lot about it. Some other announcements, other things coming with that update. We're getting a new Altair and Cuphead Mii Fighter costumes. Altair, cool, fine, yeah, whatever, Assassin's Creed. But let's talk about Cuphead, Steven. Or do you?
Okay, but still, Altair, that's unexpected.
Well, there is a man, I'm blanking. Who came after Altair?
Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Okay.
Italian.
There's an Ezio Mii Fighter costume already. So it's not like Assassin's Creed hasn't been.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, like, this is completely off point, but I don't know if there's an Assassin's Creed game on the Switch where you play as Altair.
I don't know. I don't know if there is or not. Someone would have to fact check that. But anyway.
Maybe Revelations is on Switch. I don't know. Continue.
Cuphead. I honestly was more hyped when I heard that there was a Cuphead Mii Fighter costume than I was Byleth. And that's me saying I love Fire Emblem Three Houses. I'm a big fan. I liked Byleth. But when I saw Cuphead, I was just like, dang. Why couldn't we have just had Cuphead? Yep. Like, wouldn't that have been just such a way cooler announcement? So I don't know. A lot of people weren't excited.
The problem is that they told us to expect the unexpected,
and
they just gave us
something we all expected.
Yeah, the fifth thing of what we've already seen, which he is going to be different, and I'm excited to see him, and I'm excited that there is a Garreg Mach Monastery map coming with him.
Yes, and 11 Fire Emblem tracks.
I'm really excited about that because Fire Emblem's got some dope music.
Dope music.
Someone commented, I don't remember where I saw this comment, but someone put it best when they said, right character, wrong time. Because if they had come out with Byleth earlier or a bit later, or if they had just not been like, oh, it's coming, expect the unexpected, and then all these people are like, oh my gosh, Dante from Devil May Cry is totally going to be there. And then they're just like, nope, it's exactly what you would expect us to not do.
Sakurai didn't help himself any when he started the live stream, because he was like, this is a character that's been so top secret, no one at Nintendo knows about it. He's like, that's right. I haven't told anyone. No one knows. Even some of our people who are working on this don't know. Yada, yada, yada. It's like, wait a minute. You're telling me that people who are going to be making this character don't even know what it is yet? Hype as hell. Like, this is going to be a huge announcement. And it's just Byleth. And it's like, oh, okay. So
I'm excited to play Byleth.
I'm excited.
They deserve the bad publicity they got for it because they hyped it in the wrong way.
Exactly. But man, I'm never gonna get over that Cuphead. It's like, man, that would have been such a cooler whatever. And then finally they announced the Challenger Pack 2. They are doing at least 6 more fighters, and this is going to take place over the next 24 months. So we will have fighters coming to Smash Brothers Ultimate for the next 2 years.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
That's really good.
Yeah.
Kind of cements the idea that this is the last Smash we'll get, which is fine. I think they've done about everything they can with the concept.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, kind of like you said, they've done everything they can. Like, at this point, Ultimate just needs to be updated for the next console. So when we get the Switch 2 or the Switch Pro or whatever comes after the Switch, we don't need Smash Brothers Ultimate Plus. We just need Smash Brothers Ultimate to come up and be not backwards compatible, but maybe forwards compatible. I'm just kidding. Just to bring it up and just continue to update it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and they're at the place now because the Switch is really where Nintendo finally got their act together when it comes to digital games.
Yeah.
Like where purchasing digital games, updating games digitally, DLC, all that kind of stuff. And so they are at the point where they really don't need a new game. They just add an update with new items, new maps, new characters. That's the only reason people get new Smash games anyway.
Exactly.
Because of the new characters and stuff. So they could keep this game going for years to come. Yeah. And I hope they do.
I hope they do too. So anyway, I don't even want to talk about who we think could be that 6 fighter pack, because
Dante from Devil May Cry.
Do you really want Dante in there? I know
Voodoo Vince.
I know
from Voodoo Vince.
I know you've been playing Devil May Cry 5 right now, so you're hyped about that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But do you really want Dante in there?
All I'm saying is that if Bayonetta and Snake from Metal Gear Solid can be in Smash, why not Dante? I think he would obviously have to be toned down a bit for obvious reasons, but just his style that he could bring to Smash would just be really cool. He's just such a fun character, and he'd fit right in some kind of crossover fighter. And Smash has shown that they have literally no limits now. So,
why not? People keep calling for Sora, and I'm one of the biggest Kingdom Hearts fan out there. I don't know that I want that. No. I just don't know. That just feels too weird to me. But whatever. Anyway, 6 more fighters. We'll keep up with it.
Goku from Dragon Ball Kakarot.
I've heard good things about that game. Have you been seeing stuff?
I've been seeing people stream it, but I haven't looked up any reviews or anything.
I've heard a lot of great things about it. Everything I've seen about it makes it look like it maybe wouldn't be as good as it apparently is, but I'm also not a big Dragon Ball fan. I just didn't get into it when I was younger.
Everything I've seen, like, cause like when I'm scrolling through Facebook or YouTube or whatever, and it shows what they are streaming as you pass by. Every single time I've done it, it's just been like slice of life with Goku, where he's like either just like riding around on a cloud, like he's grocery shopping, he's playing baseball, something like that, and I'm just like, what is this? This is Dragon Ball. Go fight someone.
Fight something. Oh.
So
anyway, all right. Well, now we're gonna dip into catch up, which is where we kind of just go over what we've been watching, playing, all that jazz. I have been playing a ton of Children of Morta, which we talked about last podcast. Steven had been playing it. That was something he was catching us up on. I really enjoy it, so I can back up what Steven said. It's a great roguelite. We did a live stream of it this past Friday. Is that when that was? Yeah, Friday. So if you want to go check some of it out, it's pretty good. It is a little spoilery, but, you know, anyway.
Yeah. Didn't think about that because, look, I didn't expect us to move forward in the story. When I said, hey, let's play mine, I just thought we were going to kind of do levels, but then we moved forward in the story because when we did that mission, I thought we were going to get crushed because that was right after we played as, I think, Kevin and Joey.
Maybe, yeah.
And we got destroyed. And so I was like, okay, sure, then let's play Joey and Lucy and let's just get destroyed again. And then we absolutely crushed the level. And it was like, oh, well, here's some story.
Well, yeah, anyway. But it's great. I really enjoyed it. That was a fun stream. Yeah. I really liked it. So
I'm really excited for them to do online co-op.
Oh, me too.
Which is coming.
Me too. We'll have to do more of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, been enjoying that. I have not talked a ton about My Hero Academia this year, just because I feel like with a show, this sounds so stupid, with a show that comes out like once a week, I hate talking about it because I feel like that's all I'd talk about for the whole, like every week, you know what I mean? So I much prefer like the Netflix style of things where it's just like, here is everything, and I can watch and I can tell you the week of it coming out, I can say, man, I've been watching this show. It's been great. Anyway, you guys know we love My Hero Academia here. This season has been amazing so far. And the most recent episode that got dubbed in English, because the English dub is 1 week behind. I don't know why. It's driving me crazy, though. I finally caught up to a really big episode in this particular season, in this particular arc, and it's amazing. It's what I would normally think would be like a series finale. The fight scene that happens is spectacular, and honestly, I don't know how they're gonna bring Deku Midoriya down from the level he just achieved. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Steven hasn't seen it, and I don't want to be spoilery.
I haven't seen any of this.
But
so, yeah.
Deku reaches new heights that I don't know that All Might even hit. So, it's good. It's really good.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's what I've been watching. I feel like there was one other thing. Oh, I wanted to take this moment of catch up to talk about something that I'm doing for the new year that we haven't really talked about yet in our kind of early year podcasts, but we've just had too many other things to talk about. My wife and I are counting calories for the new year to try and lose some weight. And so that's why you'll probably continue seeing me drink like weird bottled things. This is a Slim Fast that I'm kind of drinking as part of my lunch.
Yeah.
But anyway, basically all we're doing is we're counting calories. So I've never counted calories before. I've done other workout like plans before. Like when I was in college, I did stuff from Beachbody, which for anyone who doesn't work out or doesn't care about working out, that's like a company that sells programs, and they're like workout plans that have different, scheduled workouts that you do. And then they sell you a shake that you are supposed to drink to like recover from your workouts, and it does some other stuff, and then they kind of tell you an eating plan. Anyway, so I would always just eat what that was, and I'd log what I was eating, but I never really like cared how many calories I was eating. It was just, this is what they're telling me to eat, so I'm eating it. So this has been interesting for me because because we have a calorie limit, we are eating healthier to stay in our calorie limits. But it's not like, oh, I can't have any cheese, or, pizza's off the list. Any grease is off the list. It's none of that. As long as I can fit it in my calorie limit, I can eat it. So me and Lee Allison are doing it together. We're also continuing to do Hot Works, which is the hot yoga place that me and Lee Allison have been going to for almost a year now. But we are doing that 4 times a week now, whereas we used to do it like once or twice a week. So we've upped that, and then we're counting calories. But anyway, I don't know what the average, the average male should consume however many calories.
The average calorie consumption is supposed to be like 2,000.
Yeah, it's something like that. I think depending on size, it's like 2,000 to 2,500. Yeah. But anyway, before we started actually limiting ourselves, I set up the app. I'm using this thing called Fitness Pal. I set up the app, not sponsored. I set up the app and had it all ready to go, but we weren't going to start until January 3rd when we got back from New Year's festivities and whatnot. So for like the week before that, I just still calculated everything to kind of get used to it, but also I wanted to see where was I? Where am I starting? And so right. I'm trying to lose. I had mine originally. Well, anyway, the first week when we weren't doing it, I was logging about 3,000 calories a day plus, which is already over what the average should be. So that's bad. Yeah. And then obviously I was just eating whatever. So that's already bad enough. But anyway, so I was eating 3,000 calories a day, give or take. And I am striving to lose 2 pounds a week. So I am eating, my calorie limit is 1,600 calories a day. And so I have to log all that and whatnot. Lee Allison is striving, and this is so unfair for women. I feel bad. And Lee Allison won't let me get past all this, but she's set up to lose 1 pound a week, and she has the exact same calories as I do. In fact, we both started with lose 1 pound a week, but I had 2,000. I started with 2,000 calories on lose a pound a week, yeah. And but Lee Allison had 1,600 to eat. So I dropped mine to lose 2 pounds a week to be at the same calorie count as her, which is kind of unfair. And then another one of our friends, Elizabeth, who did my makeup for the extra live stream, for anyone who may have seen or watched that, she is doing 1.5 pounds a week, and she has 1,200 calories a day that she can eat, which is just, if you've never counted calories, that's not a lot. There is not a lot of room for that. But anyway, but we've been doing that. We've been working out. And I have lost 8 pounds already. So we're wow. 2-3 weeks in. I'm actually going to weigh myself today if you're watching this live. So I'm probably down closer to 10 pounds at this point. But anyway, I'm super, super excited. My goal is to get at least under 200. Right now I'm 212. But I want to get at least below 200. I'm my ultimate goal is to maybe get down to 180, or if you just Google my height and how much I'm supposed to weigh, it's 160, which I think that's crazy town. There's no way I could get to that. So I'm kind of shooting for 180. But anyway, yeah. Just that's something that's going on with me. So not that I don't need anyone to be oh my gosh, Jake, I could tell you're losing weight. But if you notice that I'm losing weight, that's what I'm doing. So anyway,
if you notice I'm losing weight, please tell me.
Do what?
If you notice I'm losing weight, please bring attention to it. Please
bring attention to it. No, you really don't have to. I just, if I am, that's what I'm doing. So anyway, but Steven, you've been playing. Actually, the voted 1K player sub choice playthrough game has been decided. It's Devil May Cry 5, and you did your first stream Saturday. What do you think of Devil May Cry 5, Steven, now that you've gotten to play a little bit of it?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, thank you guys who all voted for the viewer's choice. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. As soon as Kaylin sent me that message saying that we had raised $1,000, I was like, oh, that's awesome, but oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to play Death Stranding. How am I gonna get through this? Because I was fully expecting you guys to be like, excellent, let's make him suffer.
Right.
I think Pablo submitted 4 different games. He was like, here's my submissions, just to make Steven feel pain. One of them was WWE 2K20, which I thought was hilarious. I would have had a lot of fun with that.
I think that would have been pretty funny.
But so you guys gave some really good submissions. I didn't hate any of them, I don't think. Death Stranding wasn't on there, so none of you are dead to me. That's good. But the winner was Devil May Cry 5, and I was overjoyed because I was going to play that game anyway. I haven't played a DMC game since Ninja Theory's DMC, which a lot of people would call me a heretic because that's the only one I've played, and that's the one that everyone says is, well, heretical. But actually, that's going to be a forward compatible at some point, I think.
All right.
Because I think it'd be a good fit for one. But that was the only one I've played, and so for me to go from playing the one that was basically a origin story of Dante all the way to where we are now, where Dante's arguably not even the main character anymore. It's Nero. Seems kind of weird, but I just was like, looks fun. It looks like just a no-holds-barred, absolutely bonkers action game with good music, and that's all I want. It's like Doom all over again. I just wanted to have some fist-pumping action, listen to some good soundtrack, and just turn my brain off. And that's exactly what I've gotten. Because, like, the dialogue sounds like it was written by a 12-year-old who thinks that farts are funny. Like, that's basically how the writing is. But it has some of the slickest, most satisfying, like, action combo hack and slash mechanics. Because I've said this before, but you with Nero, you play as 3 different characters. I've only gotten to play 2 of them so far, and surprisingly, Dante is the one that I haven't played yet.
Really?
Because yeah, he I guess he's gonna be the. It's kind of in question whether or not he's dead right now.
Gotcha.
I think in the story.
Gotcha.
Well,
it's funny because I popped into your stream and you were playing as V, and I was just like, "Whoa, he must be really far to already have." Because I assumed he was the third person you would play.
I assumed that as well. But I'll talk about V in a second because I'm really impressed with V as a character, just gameplay wise. But as Nero, you have his sword, which the handle of the sword is like a motorcycle handle. So when he's about to do a fight, he like sticks the sword in the ground. He's like, all right, let's do this. And then he starts revving the sword and it makes motorcycle noises and then it lights on fire. Like,
that's the most hype thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, like it seriously. And that's a gameplay mechanic too, where while you're fighting, you can reach back on your sword and you can rev the sword up to do a super attack. So like, you're at one point I was dodging around this big demon that was trying to attack me, and while I was dodging, I was revving my sword so that when it created an opening, I could hit it really hard. So it's a gameplay mechanic. But Nero also has a mechanical arm for story reasons called a Devil Breaker, and you can equip different Devil Breakers. One of them maybe shoots like a laser, another one a concussive blast. They do different things, but there's one I forget what it's called, but it's a pun. The name of it is a pun, so I love it automatically. But it is a rocket punch, basically. Like, you shoot it off of your arm, like your arm shoots off and it seeks an enemy and it just starts like flying around them and punching them. And so I remember Brody telling me, and I had never seen this myself, but Brody told me when the demo came out for DMC5, he was like, play this demo, you literally fist that you could shoot, and then you can return it to you and hop on top of it like a surfboard and ride around and kill demons. And I was just like, okay, he may be exaggerating. No, he wasn't exaggerating at all. You can literally shoot the rocket fist off, and when it's returning to you, if you press the right button at the right time, you'll jump on top of it and you'll start like skating around. You can do special moves while you skateboard around on your rocket fist fighting demons with your sword that has a motorcycle handle that you can rev up and catch on fire. This game is absurd, and I love every second of it. But Nero's pretty fun. He's just your standard.
For anyone who's watching who just looked at my face, because I just made a really perturbed face, I just heard a honking sound outside, and that's why I turned over there. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Steven. I just was like, somebody's going to be like, what the hell just happened to Jake? Because I just made the weirdest face. Sorry, continue.
But just to add context to how much more absurd this game can get, Dante, I got this spoiled in the trailer for me, but I think Dante has a motorcycle that he can break in half and use as boxing gloves.
Like the Hulk.
Yes, like how the Hulk grabbed like the front of two cars and just started, like that. But it's just absolutely crazy. Like I am thrilled to just go back in and play it because of some of the just ridiculously awesome moves that you can pull off. Like the first battle that I did, like the first boss battle, was against this giant troll-looking demon that had a mouth in his stomach that he could use to eat things and shoot fire. But fighting him was ridiculous because just the way they handle movement and dodging while fighting these big creatures, it just felt really good. Like, I was really impressed. It was one of those things where like it was stressful, but it wasn't like Dark Souls stressful where you're just like one slip up and it's over. It was very much like fighting a big monster, and you're like looking for what its moves are, like you're looking for it to telegraph like in Dark Souls, but there's room for error and there's just ridiculous things you can do, and I loved it. V, I haven't played him as much. I ended the stream in the middle of my first mission as V. V is a summoner. I didn't know this.
I'm surprised, Steven. I wish I had enlightened you more about this game because I have not played this and I really don't have a ton of interest in it. But when I saw V, I thought he looked so cool. I was like, I want to look into this because I knew, like, because he's got like a panther, a hawk, and some other stuff that he can do. Like I was just like, I want to play just to be V. But anyway, I wish I had told you more about this game. I didn't realize you didn't know as much. But anyway, all right, go ahead. So V, for context, is basically Kylo Ren's little brother who just discovered My Chemical Romance. That's a great description. Thank you. And he just literally, one of his moves is that you can read a book of poems in the middle of combat to regen your devil trigger. And it's the most pretentious thing I've ever seen, where like you're commanding your panther and your vulture to attack, and he's over there just like, alas, the moon. And it's great. I love it. But he's really fun because you have the vulture, the panther, and then the nightmare is what it's called, which it's basically a giant troll that you can summon that Kool-Aid Man's out of nowhere. And when I say out of nowhere, like I was in the middle of a fight and I summoned Nightmare, and he literally exploded out of the wall of a tall building behind the enemies and just landed on them and exploded. Oh yeah. And he left a giant hole in the building when he did that, so I was able to actually go into the building and get some supplies. So it was a cool little thing where like if I hadn't done Nightmare, I wouldn't have unlocked that path. But can you please, so Steven, from now on, when you play V and you summon Nightmare, can you just, in the mic, when he pops out, go, oh, yeah?
people would get very annoyed with that because it happens very often. I may do something. We'll see.
Gotcha.
But that being said, the story, it's what you expect from a Devil May Cry game. They did not hire someone who's going to tell you an emotionally compelling story. They hired people who write characters that are intentionally exaggerations of like action heroes and stuff. And like it's immature, but
It's what it's supposed to be.
created such a fun. It's what it's supposed to be. It's not taking itself seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I like I said, I can't wait to play more of it. And I really think that everyone who tuned in, it seemed like you guys were having a good time. And Anna was sitting next to me watching. She seemed like she was having a good time too. We all really enjoyed making fun of the what was her name? I can't remember the girl's name, but it's this girl who she's like your weaponsmith. She has the worst accent I've ever heard. It's what you'd think that every Japanese person thinks every American talks like. Like just
awesome.
whatever you've got in your mind right now. That's what it is.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I'm just really excited to play more of it. I mean, that's what I needed, I think, because I'm only playing it when I'm streaming it.
Right.
So this is good news for you guys because now, if I'm ever like, man, I want to play some DMC, I have to stream it. That's the rule. So you're welcome. Also, thank you.
You're welcome and thank you. Yeah, Steven.
Yeah.
So Steven's going to play through the whole game at a certain point. So just every so often you'll see another stream of DMC. So we'll eventually get through the whole thing. But anyway, thank you guys for donating for that. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Chortle Cast. We do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, there's a couple things you can do to help us out. Number one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're at chortlegames.com. You can like this video, share it with your friends, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. If you're watching on Facebook, you're at Chortle Games on Facebook, and you can like our page, like this video, share it with your friends as well. Maybe leave us a little comment. And then if you're on Twitch, you're at Chortle_games on Twitch. And I don't know what all you can do on Twitch, but follow us, give us a little heart, whatever you got to do to make that happen.
Yeah.
The podcast airs every Monday night at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, provided that Elgato does not kill me or murder me or something like
Airs
that.
every Friday night at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
After 4:59 p.m.
Intended to be 5, but sometimes Elgato says no. So anyway, that's when the show airs. You can also join our Discord. That's you can get to in the description of this video. If you're watching on Twitch, I'll just say anybody who is in the Discord who's watching on Twitch, maybe post the link on there. I'll try to do that if I'm watching as well. But you may have to just go to chortlegames.com. And that'll take you to our YouTube page, and on our banner, there's a little button you can click. That's the easiest way. For podcast listeners, it's in your show notes. If you want to click on those, that'll get you to the Discord, all that good stuff. So we hang out there. We post a lot of memes. Steven posted a really good one recently that was kind of a joking on Rise of Skywalker, where at the
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I want to spoil it, but like spoilers for Rise of Skywalker if you haven't seen that. At the end when Rey says, "I'm Rey Skywalker," and she looks to the Force ghosts, and they're like, giving her the thumbs up, like, "Yeah, you can say that." So Steven posted it was a ring wraith looking for Bilbo Baggins, or
Frodo Baggins.
Frodo Baggins, and the wraith is like, "I'm looking for Baggins," and the Hobbit is like, "Baggins who?" And the wraith looks off. And you see Force Leia and Force Luke giving the thumbs up, and he looks back and he says, "Baggins Skywalker."
Skywalker.
It's great. So anyway, we post memes like that. We hang out. We let you know when we're streaming, what we're streaming. We usually put our schedule on there as well. So anyway, all good stuff. This is not the only thing we do. We've got streams that happen all week long. Typically, we stream on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights, usually around 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but that's about when we normally do it. But this week is a special case, like we said at the top of the show. This is a forward compatible week. So Steven, right after this podcast, the forward compatible preview, which is kind of where me and Steven talk through the game he's going to be playing, what he remembers about it, what he remembers liking about it, what he remembers hating, just to kind of get you a base level. That's going to air right after this podcast. Right after that, Steven is going to start live streaming. So he'll be playing Star Wars, what is it, Rogue? Republic
Commando.
Republic Commando.
It may not be right after this all this airs, but it will be tonight at some point after all this is aired.
Exactly. But anyway, he'll be live streaming that tonight. And then that's what he's going to be live streaming all week long. So you'll probably see him again Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday night. We were just talking about kind of how long it might go. Steven might beat it by Thursday, just kind of what we're looking at, but it may push to Friday. If he does beat it, we will still have a stream Friday and Saturday. Steven is dying to get back into some of that Devil May Cry. Devil Man Cry. No, wait. It is Devil May Cry, not Devil Man Crybaby, which is what I always want to say.
Anna also had that confusion when I started playing it. He was like, so this is different, right? And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is way different than that. Whole another ballpark. Anyway, Steven wants to play some of that, so if he beats this game, we may see some of that. I may jump in on a stream Saturday. We'll play it by ear, but anyway, you're going to get a lot of streaming this week is all I got to say for you. So then the review for forward compatible. So the review for Star Wars, you just said it and I can't get Rogue out of my head. It's something
Republic
Commando. I want to say Rogue Commander is what I'm thinking in my head. I don't know where I'm getting that. Anyway, for Republic Commando, that'll be Monday after next week's podcast. That'll air. So get excited for that. You'll get to kind of we'll come back and we'll kind of see what Steven thought and take it from there. So anyway, it's going to be a great week of content. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned for the preview of Star Wars Republic Commando and the live stream. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.